I'd spent many decades now sitting with people listening to their stories, sharing in their joys and their worries. And one thing I've noticed time and again is how profoundly the simple choices we make each day impact the quality of those golden years. Especially the choices we make around our kitchen table, or perhaps in front of the television with a comforting snack. Food is more than just fuel, isn't it? It's comfort, it's celebration, it's memory. It's sharing a meal with family, the aroma of something baking reminding you of childhood. But as our bodies change, becoming perhaps a little less forgiving than they once were, our relationship with certain foods needs to evolve too. Not out of fear, mind you, but out of respect for the vessel that carries our experiences, our memories, our spirit. There are some common companions on our plates, things we've enjoyed for years without a second thought, that can quietly, almost invisibly, begin to cause mischief after we pass that milestone of 65 or 70. They don't announce their presence with loud alarms, but rather work subtly, potentially undermining the very vitality we wish to preserve. I wanted to talk with you today, not to scold or restrict, but to share some gentle observations, things I've seen in my practice and learned through my own journey. Think of this as a quiet conversation between friends, looking out for one another. Let's explore a few of these everyday items that might deserve a closer look, shall we? One of the first things that often comes to mind, perhaps because it's so pervasive, so easy to reach for, are those sugary drinks. Sodas, sweetened iced teas, fruit juices with added sugars, even some of those fancy coffee concoctions. Ah, the immediate pleasure they offer. That sweet rush, the bubbly fizz. I remember neighborhood picnics, birthday parties, the clinking of ice in a tall glass on a hot day. Wonderful memories. But as we age, our body's ability to manage sugar changes. Our metabolism slows down and our pancreas, the little organ responsible for producing insulin to process sugar, might not be as efficient as it once was. When we frequently flood our system with liquid sugar, it's like asking an older engine to constantly race at top speed. It puts a strain on our system. Blood sugar levels can spike and then crash, leaving us feeling tired and irritable, not vibrant and energetic. Over time, this roller coaster can contribute to insulin resistance, which is a stepping stone towards type 2 diabetes. And it doesn't stop there. Excess sugar fuels inflammation throughout the body. Think of inflammation as a slow, simmering fire inside. It can worsen joint pain, making it harder to enjoy a walk in the park or play with the grandchildren. It can impact heart health, contributing to high blood pressure and other cardiovascular concerns. Even our brain isn't immune. Studies increasingly link high sugar intake to cognitive decline and memory issues. It's not about never enjoying a sweet treat again. Goodness no. Life needs its small pleasures. But perhaps that daily soda could become a weekly treat. Maybe switching to water infused with lemon or cucumber slices, or enjoying unsweetened herbal teas. Plain water is truly remarkable, hydrating us without any of the baggage. Even milk, in moderation, can be a good choice for calcium and vitamin D. It's about being mindful of how often these sugary floods are happening and gently guiding ourselves towards choices that support sustained energy and clarity, rather than a fleeting rush followed by a slump. Think of it as choosing steady warmth over a brief, intense flare that quickly fades. Next on our list, and this one can be tricky because it's often seen as a convenient source of protein, are processed meats. I'm talking about things like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, those convenient slices for sandwiches, or the crispy companion to our breakfast eggs. They taste good, don't they? That smoky flavor, that salty kick. They are often part of quick meals, easy lunches, family barbecues. But the processing they undergo introduces elements that our aging bodies can struggle with. The primary concern here is often the high sodium content. Manufacturers use salt generously as a preservative and flavor enhancer. As we get older, our kidneys become less efficient at filtering out excess sodium, and our blood vessels can become stiffer. This combination means that a high-sodium diet can significantly increase blood pressure. And high blood pressure, as many of you know, is a silent risk factor for heart disease, stroke, and kidney problems. It works quietly, often without symptoms until significant damage is done. Beyond the salt, there are the preservatives, particularly nitrates and nitrites. These are added to preserve color and prevent bacterial growth. While they serve a purpose, when consumed regularly over long periods, concerns have been raised about their potential link to inflammation and even certain types of cancer. Our bodies, with decades of exposure to various environmental factors, might be more susceptible to these cumulative effects. The occasional hot dog at a ball game or a few slices of bacon on a Sunday morning might not be the end of the world. But when these become daily staples, a deli meat sandwich for lunch every day, sausage with breakfast several times a week, the cumulative load of sodium and preservatives can start to tip the scales. What are the alternatives? Freshly cooked chicken or turkey breast, perhaps roasted at home and sliced for sandwiches. Fish like salmon or tuna, packed with heart-healthy omega-3s, beans, and lentils, wonderful plant-based sources of protein and fiber. Even choosing lower-sodium versions of deli meats when you do indulge can make a difference. It requires a little more planning, perhaps, than grabbing a pre-packaged option, but the benefits for your heart, your blood pressure, and your overall sense of well-being can be truly significant. It's about finding that balance between convenience and conscious care for the body that has served you so faithfully all these years. Let's stay on the topic of sodium for a moment and talk about something else often found in our pantries for its convenience: high-sodium canned goods. Canned vegetables, soups, beans. They have a long shelf life, they're often inexpensive, and they can be a lifesaver when you need a quick meal. I certainly understand the appeal, especially if cooking elaborate meals feels burdensome sometimes. However, much like processed meats, the sodium content in many standard canned products can be astonishingly high. Again, salt is used liberally for preservation and taste. A single serving of canned soup, for example, can sometimes contain half or even more of the recommended daily sodium intake for an older adult. And often we might eat the whole can, not just the single serving listed on a label. Remember what we discussed about aging kidneys and blood vessels? That same principle applies here. Consistently consuming high levels of sodium from sources like canned goods forces your body to retain extra fluid. This increases the volume of blood circulating, putting extra pressure on your blood vessel walls, hence higher blood pressure. Over time, this can strain the heart, potentially leading to heart failure or aggravating existing conditions. It can also worsen swelling in the legs and ankles, something many seniors already experience. Beyond blood pressure, that excess fluid retention can just make you feel puffy, uncomfortable, sluggish. Not exactly the feeling we're aiming for in our later chapters. The good news is that awareness is key, and manufacturers are increasingly offering low-sodium or no-salt-added versions of many canned staples. Reading labels becomes crucial. Look for those keywords: low sodium, reduced sodium, or no salt added. Rinsing canned beans and vegetables under running water before using them can also wash away a significant amount of the surface sodium. Opting for frozen vegetables is another excellent choice. They are typically flash frozen at peak ripeness with no added salt, retaining their nutrients beautifully. And when it comes to soups, perhaps consider making a large batch of homemade soup when you feel up to it. Using fresh ingredients and controlling the salt yourself, then freezing portions for later. It takes a bit more effort up front, but the control you gain over your sodium intake is invaluable. It's about making convenience work for your health, not against it. Now let's move on to the morning meal, often touted as the most important of the day: breakfast, and specifically certain popular breakfast cereals. We see the boxes lined up in the grocery aisle, often with claims of added vitamins or whole grains. They seem like a healthy, quick start to the day. Pour it in a bowl, add milk, perhaps some fruit. Simple. Yet many cereals, even those not obviously frosted or candy-like, can be surprisingly high in added sugars and low in the beneficial fiber our bodies need, especially as we age. That sugar rush we talked about with sodas. It can happen with your breakfast cereal too. Many brands contain significant amounts of hidden sugars: high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, honey, molasses, contributing to that same blood sugar spike and subsequent crash. leaving you hungry and perhaps reaching for another less than ideal snack mid-morning. This constant demand on your insulin response isn't helpful for long-term metabolic health. Equally important is the lack of fiber in many refined cereals. Fiber is absolutely crucial for older adults. It aids digestion, preventing constipation, which can become more common with age and certain medications. It helps regulate blood sugar by slowing down the absorption of glucose. It contributes to healthy cholesterol levels. And it helps you feel full and satisfied, reducing the urge to overeat. Many popular crunchy cereals are made from refined grains, meaning the bran and germ, where most of the fiber and nutrients reside, have been stripped away. So you might be getting calories but not the sustained energy and digestive support you need. What's a better start? Consider oatmeal, the old-fashioned rolled oats, not the instant packets which often have added sugar. Cook it yourself and add your own fruit, nuts, or a sprinkle of cinnamon. High-fiber brand cereals, shredded wheat, or cereals explicitly stating whole grain as the first ingredient and having low added sugar content are better choices. Greek yogurt with berries and nuts or eggs, boiled, scrambled, poached, offer protein and healthy fats for sustained energy. It's about starting your day with fuel that supports your body's needs, providing steady energy and promoting digestive wellness, setting a positive tone for the hours ahead. Think of it as laying a solid foundation for your day's activities. Finally, let's touch upon something many find comforting. A treat often associated with fairs, restaurants, or perhaps even home cooking traditions. Deep-fried foods, French fries, fried chicken, donuts, crispy onion rings, that satisfying crunch, the rich flavor. They often feel like an indulgence, a special treat, and occasionally perhaps they can be. But when fried foods become a regular part of the diet, they bring along baggage that our bodies, particularly after 65, handle poorly. The main issue lies in the unhealthy fats, often trans fats or saturated fats, created or absorbed during the deep frying process, especially if the oil is used repeatedly or isn't of good quality. These fats are notoriously bad for heart health. They raise levels of LDL, the bad cholesterol, while potentially lowering HDL, the good cholesterol. This contributes to the buildup of plaque in arteries, a condition known as atherosclerosis, significantly increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke. Beyond the fats, deep frying adds a tremendous amount of calories to food without adding much nutritional value. This can contribute to weight gain, which in turn puts extra strain on joints, exacerbates conditions like arthritis, and increases the risk for various chronic diseases, including diabetes and heart disease. Furthermore, fried foods can be hard on the digestive system. As we age, our digestion naturally slows down somewhat. Heavy, greasy foods can lead to discomfort, indigestion, heartburn, and sluggishness. That feeling of heaviness after a fried meal isn't just in your stomach. It can impact your overall energy levels and sense of well-being. What are the gentler alternatives? Baking, roasting, grilling, or air frying can often achieve a pleasingly crisp texture without submerging the food in unhealthy oils. Seasoning well with herbs and spices can provide wonderful flavor. Choosing leaner proteins and plenty of vegetables prepared in these healthier ways provides satisfaction without the cardiovascular and digestive burden. Again, it's not about absolute deprivation. It's about recognizing that foods prepared in certain ways exact a higher toll on our systems as the years go by, and choosing preparation methods that honor our health. It's about savoring flavor and texture in ways that leave us feeling energized and light, not weighed down. So there we have it. Sugary drinks, processed meats, high-sodium canned goods, sugary low-fiber cereals, and deep-fried foods. 5 common items that, while perhaps enjoyed for years, might warrant a little more thought and moderation as we navigate our later decades. Please understand, my intention here is not to create anxiety or take away the joy of eating. Food should be a source of pleasure and connection, but it should also be a source of vitality. It's about awareness, about making informed choices that align with our desire to live fully, with energy and dignity, for as long as possible. Aging is a complex process, a blend of accumulated wisdom and physical changes. Our bodies tell a story, and listening to that story, responding with kindness and care is perhaps one of the greatest acts of self-respect we can practice. Sometimes small adjustments in our daily habits, like swapping a sugary drink for water or choosing baked fish over fried, can make a profound difference not just in how long we live, but how well we live. It's about having the energy to pursue hobbies, to travel, to engage with family and friends, to simply enjoy the quiet beauty of an ordinary day without being held back by preventable discomfort or fatigue. If you have children or grandchildren watching this with you, perhaps this is a conversation you can have together. Supporting each other and making healthier choices can be a wonderful way to express love and care across generations. Share meals, try new recipes, read labels together. It's not about policing each other, but about embarking on a journey of wellness as a family. Remember, change doesn't have to be drastic or sudden. Small, consistent steps are often the most sustainable. Choose one thing, perhaps, that resonated with you today, and think about a gentle shift you could make. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the small victories. The journey through our later years holds so much potential for joy, reflection, and connection. Nourishing our bodies thoughtfully is simply a way of honoring that potential, ensuring we have the physical foundation to embrace all that life still has to offer. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourselves, be kind to your body, and cherish every moment. Be well.